Rossa is joining us on the line this morning. Hi, Rossa.
Morning, Richie. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I presume that you are feeling chipper today, particularly after we've just seen Pride of Arras winning the Dante earlier in the week. Just take us through your expectations going into the race and what you felt as he hit the line.
Well, his work at home had been good, but I suppose a lot of ours have been needing their first run, so that was on the back of my mind, and he hadn't seen the racetrack since last August. But through the race was just something else. I thought he had every excuse to, there was a good atmosphere there, and only a second run to kind of lose himself before the off, and he never turned a hair. And I just travelled so well into it. I know he didn't go very hard early, but I travelled so well into it, and to follow up 3 and just go, I have enough underneath me to wait for a gap, even if someone comes around us. I had an engine underneath me, and to be fair to him, I had to teach him on the job and come through horses, but once I picked my gap and sent him for it, he put his head down and he galloped right out. And he didn't do a whole pile in front, but still won impressively, I thought.
That point that you just make, and we just saw it on the replay, for a horse racing for just the second time in a very competitive race, where he's going in between the gap, I think it's Sea Scout and the John Gosden trained Godolphin in the white cap. You go through that gap, and some horses on just their second starting experience might be a bit intimidated. But he was happy to thrust his head down into that gap, put his ears back, and he went through it. How much did he learn from his experience in the Dante overall?
Oh, I think he's learned a hell of a lot, because he had to adjust himself. And the one thing I was very taken by him was once I sent him for the gap, he put the race to bed within a matter of about 6 strides, and just allowed me to be easy on him probably the last half furlong. I was very taken by him. I think pedigree suggests he'll stay. I suppose he only has to stay the one day. That's the big day, and he's got plenty of speed, and he's got an unbelievable mind. He's definitely something very different to what the likes of Blue Stocking and them. This lad is completely different to them. Nothing seems to faze him, which is a first for me anyways.
I suppose the point you make about his speed, and if he's going to need his stamina, it'll just be for the one day, was indeed highlighted by Rafe after the race. He said that this horse has more speed than Westover. He works better than Westover, as we were talking about on the show just a few moments ago. So how do you go ahead riding a horse like that in the Derby? What goes through your mind?
Well, for him to be compared to Westover already is music to my ears. I'm not going to lie. Just shows how high regard he holds him in. I think the biggest thing is you need the pace of a horse to be good enough for a Group 1 over 1.25 miles and gets 1.5 miles around Epsom, because you look back and see the stars. He won at Guineas, but the first to the top of the hill, he was in Mick Kinahan's hands the whole way, and then he just travelled. And it's horses. You need a horse to travel to be able to cope with the place, and I don't see this lad as being a horse that won't cope with it. He's got a very good centre of gravity. We are very well balanced, and I think a lot of people forgot how well he did things first time up. And I know he was thrown straight into the deep end in the Dante, but if you watch him when he won first time, he hit a ridge 3 out in Sandown. It took him 5 strides to adjust himself, and by the furlong pole he'd taken 4 lengths out of the field. It was like he just jumped in. So there's definitely what the most fascinating thing about him is he only does what we ask of him at home, and we don't ask him to do any more. And everything else after that, we're finding out on the racetrack, because he done basically no racing last year. So it's actually a very, very exciting position to be in, especially with a horse like this, because I still don't think we have scratched the surface of what could be to come.
Rossa, I think I heard you speaking to a couple of media outlets in the week, talking about what it means to win the Derby. Obviously, you rode a bucket load of winners last year. Championship, I'm sure, talking to Tom about it earlier on, that's a thing for any rider operating at the level that you are. But what about the Derby? How important is that a race now for members of the weighing room?
Oh, it's the one race that's known all around the world. It's, you know, been around for years. It's the race of champions, really. And to have a horse in that position, you know, I to be quite honest with you, Richie, I didn't think things could get better than last year after Blue Stocking. And I really thought that filling the hole after losing her to retirement was going to be, I didn't even know we ever fill it, to be quite honest. But to have a horse that could be potentially there to replace her, yeah, it's definitely going to be, it's going to be a long 3 weeks, but it's going to be an exciting 3 weeks, that's for sure.
Well, Rossa, thank you for your time. Thank you for letting us know how important the Derby is, because a lot of us shared that sentiment, and hope it's a smooth ride between now and Epsom with Pride of Arras.
Please God, thanks Richie, cheers.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.